The human in the cage. The lights were too bright. They burned Ryan's eyes as he opened them. He was lying on a cold metal floor. His head ached. His arms were heavy. Something was wrapped around his wrists, glowing cuffs. Ryan stood up slowly. Around him was a tall glass cage. Outside the cage, strange alien faces looked at him. They had green skin, sharp eyes, and long arms. They were not smiling. They were laughing. One of the aliens spoke in a deep voice. "Look at the human. Weak, small, funny." The crowd of aliens laughed louder. Ryan didn't speak. He looked around, studying everything. The arena was huge. It looked like a stadium. Thousands of aliens were sitting in round rows, shouting and pointing. Big screens showed his face close up. Words in alien language flashed across the top. New fighter, human from Earth. Ryan remembered what happened. He had been flying a small scout ship near a red planet. There was a flash of light, then darkness. Now he was here, captured. A loud alarm rang. The glass cage started to move. It floated above the ground, moving toward a gate. On the other side of the gate, Ryan could hear growls. Loud, angry growls. The alien voice came again. This time, through speakers. "Let the game begin." The cage opened. Ryan was pushed into a dirt-covered pit. He looked up. The crowd roared. Something heavy hit the ground behind him. He turned fast. It was a beast. 4 arms, sharp teeth, eyes red like fire. The creature was 3 times his size. Thick chains on its legs snapped loose. It roared and charged at Ryan. Ryan didn't run. He took a deep breath. He remembered his training. He was a soldier once, smart, fast, and deadly. He looked at the beast's legs. It was strong but slow. Its left leg dragged a little. Weak point. The crowd thought they would see a quick kill. But Ryan jumped aside. The beast missed. It hit a wall and stumbled. Ryan picked up a metal rod from the ground. He didn't attack yet. He waited. Watched. The beast turned again. This time faster. It swung one of its big arms. Ryan ducked, rolled, and jabbed the rod into the weak leg. The beast screamed. From the crowd, silence started to grow. The human was not running. The human was fighting. Ryan moved fast, using the walls to bounce off, jumping and striking. He led the beast into a trap, between 2 sharp stone pillars. At the last second, Ryan slid under it. The beast ran forward and slammed its head into a pillar. Dazed, Ryan ran up the pillar and jumped on the beast's back. He wrapped a chain around its neck, pulling tight. It tried to throw him off, but he held on. The beast fell to its knees. Then it collapsed. Dead silence. Then loud screams and cheers. But this time, not of laughter, of shock, of surprise. Ryan stood on top of the beast's back. His face was bloody, his chest heaving. He looked up at the cameras. The Zarnak commander watched from a high tower. His yellow eyes narrowed. This human, he learns fast. Another alien leaned close. Should we stop the games? The commander shook his head. No. Let the next round begin. Let's see how far he can go before he breaks. Back in the arena, the floor opened again. Ryan was pulled up by a lift. The cage closed around him once more. But now the aliens didn't laugh. They watched him closely. Some even clapped. Ryan sat down in the middle of the cage. He touched his wrist. Inside the glowing cuffs, he felt a small wire. Loose, weak spot. He smiled to himself. They thought he was a toy, a joke. But Ryan had already started his plan. This was not just a fight for his life. It was the beginning of something bigger. A mine too dangerous. The cage door slammed shut. Ryan was back inside, breathing hard. His muscles hurt. His face was bruised. But he was alive. The alien crowd above was not laughing anymore. They were quiet. Some looked angry. Some looked curious. A few even looked scared. The Zarnak commander stared at the screen. This human is a problem. His assistant, a thin alien with silver skin, spoke. Should we kill him now? No, the commander said slowly. Let him keep fighting. Let the others see what happens when a human thinks he can win. Ryan sat in the middle of his glass cage, thinking. Around him, the walls were clear, but the roof was covered with black metal. A camera blinked in the corner. He had noticed it in the last match. The control room door opened for only 2 seconds when the fight ended. That was the weak point. He had counted the time. He looked at his wrist cuffs again. The small wire inside was almost free, just a little more work. Later that day, another fight was announced. This time, Ryan was sent into the arena with 2 other prisoners. One was a strong red alien with spikes on his back. The other was a small blue creature with 6 eyes. The Zarnak speaker shouted, "Let the prisoners fight each other." The crowd cheered. Ryan looked at the other 2. The red one growled. The blue one trembled in fear. Ryan raised both hands. "Wait, don't fight. Listen to me." The red alien stepped closer. "Why? So you can trick us?" Ryan shook his head. "We're all prisoners. If we keep fighting for their fun, we'll all die. But if we work together, we can escape." The blue one looked hopeful. "Escape? How?" Ryan smiled. "I have a plan. But I need your help." The red alien paused. Then he lowered his fists. "Fine. What do we do?" They made the fight look real. Punches were thrown, but not too hard. Dust flew. The crowd couldn't tell it was fake. Ryan whispered the plan while they moved. He learned that the red alien, Gravak, had claws that could cut metal. The blue one, Zil, could hack simple tech with his skin. Both had been prisoners for many months. Both hated the Zarnak. After the match, all 3 were returned to their cages. Ryan looked at the camera again. He stared straight into it. He knew someone was watching. In the night, Ryan tapped the cuffs again. The wire finally snapped. The small shock went away. He was free. But he didn't show it. Not yet. Instead, he waited. The next day, he was taken to the arena again. This time, a giant robot was waiting. The announcer said, "Let's see the human fight a machine." Ryan stepped forward. The robot moved fast, metal fists swinging like hammers. Ryan dodged, but barely. Sparks flew. He ran to a wall and climbed up a ledge. The robot chased him. Ryan jumped down, grabbing a loose wire and pulling hard. A part of the wall broke open. Inside was a small power box. Ryan kicked it open. Zil had told him about this. The box sent signals to the robot. Ryan pulled 2 wires, crossed them, and the robot stopped. It froze in place. Then its lights turned red. The robot turned and attacked the Zarnak guards nearby. The crowd screamed. Back in his cage, Ryan sat calmly. Zarnak commanders shouted orders. Guards ran around. Systems failed. Ryan touched the earpiece he had taken from one of the guards during the chaos. He spoke into it softly. "Gravak, Zil, are you ready?" 2 voices answered. "Ready. Let's do this." Ryan moved to the back wall of the cage. He kicked it hard. Once. Twice. On the 3rd hit, Gravak, in the cage next to him, slashed the wall with his claws. It opened. Ryan crawled through the hole. The lights flashed red. Alarm sounds echoed. Guards shouted. Blasters fired. Ryan and Gravak fought their way through the hall. Zil opened the security doors with his hacking skin. They reached the control center. Ryan threw a smoke bomb taken from the guard's belt. In the smoke, he moved fast, knocking out 2 operators. He grabbed the mic. The big screen in the arena turned black. Then Ryan's face appeared. Blood on his cheek, eyes full of fire. He spoke in a strong voice. You wanted a show. Here's your final. Humans don't fight for fun. We fight to survive. And now, we're done playing your game." The crowd went silent. The Zarnak commander crushed his cup in rage. "Shut it down. Kill them all." But it was too late. Tables turned. Time to run. Red lights flashed across the ceiling. Sirens howled. The Zarnak space station was in chaos. Ryan ran down the hallway with Gravik and Zil close behind. Smoke filled the air. Guards shouted orders. Blaster shots flew past them. Ryan didn't stop. He held a stolen blaster in one hand and a stolen access card in the other. They were almost at the launch bay, where the ships were kept. "Zil," Ryan said, "how long until you open the bay doors?" Zil tapped on a panel with his glowing fingers. "Just a few more seconds." "Hurry," Ryan said. "We don't have much time." Behind them, heavy footsteps came closer. The Zarnak commander had sent elite hunters, tall creatures with sharp armor and laser weapons. Ryan turned and fired. One hunter fell, but the others kept coming. "We need cover," shouted Gravik. Ryan pointed to a storage room. "In there." They jumped inside and locked the door. Blaster shots hit the wall. Smoke filled the hallway. Inside the room, Ryan opened a metal box. Inside were small explosive pods. He smiled. "Perfect." He handed 2 to Gravik. "Throw these behind us when we run." Gravik grinned. "With pleasure." Zil spoke. "Doors are open. Launch bay is clear." "Let's move," Ryan said. They ran again. The station shook. The ground rumbled. Zarnak guards were everywhere, but confused and panicking. As they entered the launch bay, they saw a large Zarnak ship on the platform. "That one," Ryan said. "It's fast." Gravik threw the pods. Explosions rocked the hallway behind them. Fire and smoke slowed the hunters. They reached the ship. Zil hacked the door. It opened with a hiss. They jumped inside. In the control room, Ryan took the pilot's seat. "Strap in." Zil and Gravik sat behind him. Ryan pushed the buttons quickly. The ship powered on. The Zarnak commander appeared on a screen. His eyes were full of rage. "You can't escape, human," he growled. "You were captured for our amusement. You belong to us." Ryan stared into the camera and said, "Not anymore." He hit the launch button. The ship lifted off. As they flew out of the bay, the station's defense guns fired. Lasers streaked past the ship. "Shields holding," Zil said. "But not for long." Ryan pushed the engine harder. "Come on, just a little more." One laser hit the side of the ship. Sparks flew. The ship shook. "We're hit," Gravik shouted. "I know," Ryan said, "but we're still flying." They reached open space. Behind them, the Zarnak station got smaller and smaller. Ryan let out a deep breath. "We're out." Gravik laughed. "You did it, human. You actually did it." Ryan smiled. "No, we did it." A few hours later, they were far from the station. Ryan sat in the quiet cockpit, looking out at the stars. Zil walked in. "Where will you go now?" Ryan shrugged. "Earth, maybe. Or maybe somewhere safe. Somewhere free." Gravik entered. "The Zarnak will come after us." Ryan nodded. "I know. That's why we're sending a message." He pressed a button. A signal started to broadcast across the galaxy. It said, "To all who are captured, to all who are used for fun, fight back." We did, and we won. Back on the Zarnak station, the commander watched the message on every screen. His face turned pale. "Shut it off," he shouted. But it was too late. Aliens across many worlds saw it. Prisoners in cages looked up. Some smiled. Others began to plan. The human had started something new. Final scene. In the ship, Ryan looked at a screen showing a star map. "Where to next?" Gravik asked. Ryan grinned. "Wherever they don't expect us." The ship turned and disappeared into the stars. The last stand. Ryan sat quietly at the control panel of the ship. The stars passed by at incredible speed. His crew, Gravak and Zil, were in the back, making repairs and checking the ship's systems. The quiet hum of the engines was the only sound. "Think the Zarnak are still after us?" Gravak asked, breaking the silence. Ryan didn't look up. "I'm sure they are. They don't take losing well." Zil spoke from behind. "We need to find a place to hide. If we keep running, they'll catch up eventually. And we can't keep fighting forever." Ryan rubbed his chin. He had been thinking the same thing for days. He knew that sooner or later, the Zarnak would hunt them down again. Hours passed, and Ryan finally made a decision. "We're heading to the Rico Belt. It's dangerous, but there's a planet there, isolated. We'll find shelter, make a plan." The Rico Belt was a dangerous region of space, filled with asteroid fields and black holes. Few ships dared to travel through it, but that was exactly why it might be the perfect hiding place. As they approached the belt, the ship's radar lit up. A small fleet of Zarnak ships appeared on the edge of the system. "They found us faster than I expected," Ryan muttered, tightening his grip on the controls. "Do we fight?" Gravak asked, his eyes filled with excitement. Ryan looked out the window at the approaching ships. The Zarnak fleet was closing in. There were too many of them. Too many to fight head-on. The odds were against them. "No," Ryan said. "We're not fighting. We're escaping." Zil looked at him with confusion. "Escaping? How?" Ryan grinned. "We'll use the belt. It's full of dangers, but if we're smart, we can make them follow us right into a trap." The Zarnak ships closed in, firing warning shots. Ryan didn't flinch. He turned the ship toward the asteroid field, where the dark rocks swirled and clashed together. It was the perfect maze. "Hold on," Ryan said, slamming the thrusters. The ship shot forward, weaving in and out of the massive asteroids. The Zarnak fleet followed closely, but it wasn't as agile. They fired at the ship, but Ryan was too quick, dodging blasts with every turn. One of the Zarnak ships was too close and collided with an asteroid. The explosion shook the surrounding space. "Looks like they're not used to this," Gravak laughed. But the fleet didn't give up. The Zarnak ships were gaining on them. "We need a bigger distraction," Ryan said, thinking quickly. He hit a button on the console, activating a series of decoy drones from the ship's storage bay. The drones flew ahead of them, mimicking the ship's signature. The Zarnak fleet took the bait, focusing all their fire on the decoys. But Ryan had a bigger plan. He guided the ship straight toward a massive black hole in the center of the Rico Belt. The gravitational pull was strong, pulling everything in. "Are you insane?" Zil shouted from the back. "We don't have a choice," Ryan yelled back. "We need to lose them. Now." The Zarnak fleet didn't stop. They followed Ryan's ship straight toward the black hole, unable to turn back. Just as the ship got dangerously close, Ryan slammed the emergency thrusters. The ship jolted, flying out of the pull of the black hole at the last second. But the Zarnak ships weren't so lucky. One by one, they got too close. The gravitational force was too strong. The first ship vanished into the black hole, followed by another. Within minutes, the entire fleet had been swallowed by the black hole's deadly gravity. Ryan breathed a sigh of relief. "They'll never catch us now," he said quietly. The ship drifted quietly through space for a while, the sound of the engines humming gently. Zil walked up beside Ryan. "What now?" Ryan smiled. "Now we find a new home. And we make sure no one forgets who won this fight." Gravak grinned. "I like that idea. A place where we can live free. A place where we make the rules." Final scene. As Ryan looked out the window at the stars, he saw the endless possibilities of the future ahead. No longer a prisoner, no longer hunted. He had won, and with his new crew, they would build something better.